Now about mask, there are so many different types and styles and things you can choose from, and I'd like to show you some of the basic kind of types of mask you can choose for scuba diving. First of all, let me show you, this is just a basic selection of what's out on the market. There are many more, but this is just like 5 different types of masks for scuba diving, or maybe not. This is the first one, and this one is definitely not for scuba. This is the goggles you know from swimming, pool training, and actually they're very nice to use. They don't feel much, and it's very easy to reach your nose, and it's very easy to equalize. But the thing is, you're not able to equalize the goggles up here, because in here there's a small air pocket, and when you dive and the pressure changes, you will have a squeeze in here, because the volume of the air will get lower, get tighter, and it will suck your eyes out. So you will definitely hurt your eyes if you use these for scuba. So that's really a bad idea. But it can be a good idea to have a low volume mask like this. Now, this mask is actually intended for freediving because of the low volume. And as you can see, if I'm quite big, I mean, I'm 193 tall, so it looks very tiny. But the big advantage of this one is the low volume, and this makes it easier to equalize the pressure with your nose. And also at the same time, it's very easy to pinch your nose here. Very good access, and if you are a smaller person, it might be very good. I'm using it for deep free dives, but not for scuba. And if you look on this free dive example, you can see there's a lot of air escaping from the mask. This is actually not because you are exhaling air through your nose when you're free diving on the way up. You only do that in the surface, but this is the air pocket inside even this tiny mask that's expanding and escapes around the edges. It's actually quite a lot of air that's expanding in that way. This is more a standard type of mask, and this one actually fits most people, and it's very much used by a lot of people, instructors and so on. It's still quite narrow. One of the main things to work with when you choose a mask is how it fits. This one is actually, for me, still a little narrow, so I've chosen a wider one. I'll show you later. But one thing you should be careful about when you're choosing a mask and how you choose it is how wide an angle do you have. So, how far out I can see my hands left. This I can see I have an angle like this, and when I hold looking up, I have here to here. Okay, so now I cannot see anything on my hand. Here I can see it. Oh, there I can see it. There I can see it. So I have like this box of my field of vision. And when you're in that dive position, hanging there, and you're looking around, you want to have a wide field of view as possible, but you still want to have a low volume mask. So there are many things to consider in this. Now you see this one has like a drop down here. So it actually has a wider field of view down here. So that's actually very nice to have a wider angle. You can also see it's definitely just bigger glasses in them. So for me, this shape works really well. And there's also another difference. You see here, there's glass in between. You see this one. there's this thing here, but it actually means this one is more flexible. So that's one of the main differences between these. This one also has, when you see here, this one is very soft here on the inside. And this softness makes it fits really well. When the last one I'm going to show you is more like a classic type of scuba. It's nice and wide, but this one is actually too wide for me. I didn't realize that when I tried it in the shop, because it's really a great mask and it works well for a lot of people. But the thing is, when you're testing a mask in the shop, you put it on your face and you check if I suck air in through my nose and hold it. It actually sits quite well. It fits perfectly. But the thing is, when I'm diving, I'm doing a lot of these, looking at something, laughing, smiling. And I have these wrinkles here. And this mask is so wonderful wide and fits a lot of people. But for me, when I have it here and I do like this, you probably can't see it, but then it starts to open here and water is coming in. So if you can, when you're in the shop and testing out a mask, put it to a face, so air in, and smile. Just hold it and make that. If this happens, it doesn't work that well. Try the same thing with this one. It's much tighter, and this one, that's why this one works for me. But again, you must try yourself, test a mask, and the best thing you can do is actually try to borrow a mask from one of your friends. There are also masks where you can actually, all kind of fancy mirrors in them. I've tried to catch the light of, but we have this mirror effect. I think that's a very bad idea. So actually, when you're diving, and one of the indicators of how your body is doing is his eyes, and you can see his eyes and how he's doing. Let me give an example. If he looks like this, everything is fine. But if suddenly the eyes are like this, and he's looking around, and that, I mean, as an instructor, that's really one of the things you're looking for. How do your body or your students look in their eyes? And some of them are actually totally mirror, and you don't have a clue on how Darth Vader is doing behind the mask. So I definitely would recommend that you buy a mask with a full clear view. Also, when you buy a mask, there are this wax on the inside of the mask. Some take a torch or a light or anything and remove that mask or that wax layer, but it can really be a bad idea, because all these, or most of these proper dive masks are made with glass, and the glass is made with a process of using temperature to get the brightness in the glass. So if you heat it too much, you actually ruin the glass inside. You can add on some toothpaste, leave it for some time, and then you just go ahead and you polish it until it goes, and then you know that that layer is gone and it's how it should be. So the next thing to consider is the mask strap. Typical, they are like this one. It's a rubber silicone thing that's on the mask when you buy it, and it works fine, but there are definitely, I think, better alternatives than this. Because if you have long hair, if you have a hood on anything, this can easily be stuck, and it's not that flexible as it could be. So one step or one thing to do could actually be have a neoprene. Could actually be like have a neoprene like this. The big advantage of this one is actually if you lose your mask when you're goofing around in the surface, it doesn't fall that fast in the water. I mean, if I drop this one, it's gone like, it's a few seconds, it would fall like this. But this one might even float in the surface because the neoprene keeps it up. And the neoprene is also very easy to work with when you're in the water, so you can do like that. Now the silicone ones like this will much easier roll when you put it on, like put on the mask. And if you try it, of course it's easier with your hair when it's wet, but it rolls very easy, and when it sticks up here when you want to take it off. So, and the new ones are made like ski goggles and actually work really well. I was a little, when I saw them in the beginning, I was like, I don't really know. But you know what? It's great. It works fine, and it sits, it's easy to adjust, and it has a good tension to the hair like that. And it's easy to clip on and off like this. And it even comes with this one, a snorkel adapter, so it's easy to put the snorkel in here when you're diving. So I actually think this new style is very good. So just a fast recap here on what to look for when you're buying. These are for swimming in the pool or snorkeling low water, not diving deep. These are if you're a petite, has a petite, smaller head and want to have a narrow look like that. You should consider, do you want to have this one up here or not? It's like holding a finger here. If it annoys you, go for the other type, okay? This one is more like a standard mask, and I don't think you should buy the mirror ones with reflections, because it makes it difficult for your friends to see how you're doing in your eyes like this. That's a standard type. Be careful to choose one that's not too wide and not too small. You know that small thing? This is the one I'm using. I'm using different masks, but right now it's this one. And one of my friends diving will not use this mask because it actually presses up here. Because when you're diving, going under pressure, the mask sits a little closer, and it will ask some pressure might add some pressure to your forehead. So just a little thing about how to choose the right mask. Safe diving.